2 of the day. Tofuk versus Rabidsquirrel. And this is an interesting matchup here as well. Two of the pretty mid-level divisions, like when it comes to power level, pretty balanced divisions currently. 82nd versus 39th guards Motostrelki coming up here now. As Tofuk is coming in from the left, and Rabidsquirrel is coming in from the right on the lovely map of Vertigo. Nice 4-zone map. 2+2 zones in the middle, 2+3 zones in the rear. Let's see how this goes. 39 obviously has the power of the BMP3, has the power of the SU-25s in its hands. And what's on the other side? The 82nd has a lot of ATGMs flying around, has the forward deployment, and has the Apaches. So both sides for sure having some strong strengths in their decks. And before going, once more a shout out everyone. You can help out the prize pool of the tournament via Matcherino. You can find the link down below on YouTube, on the site, on Twitch, and you can just click this claim code button to add 25 cents to the prize pool for free. Or, yeah, go down here and visit some websites. You don't have to buy anything on them to add some money to the prize pool for free as well. And if you want to contribute directly, you can do that as well. Once more, big shout out to all the guys who did so. Mukadi with the 40 bucks, Sinbad with the 315 bucks, Tukan with the 30. Big shout out to all of these guys getting us, with all the support of you guys, over 500 bucks already. We're closing in on the third stretch goal already, so I have to come up with more, I guess. Yes. Let's see if you can make me suffer with TKS, guys. If we go over 600 bucks, there is a full-on TKS stream coming up for you. So, yeah. Let's go. And then let's have a look on the division we're in. Tofuk has to kind of at least get a draw here, but better win if Tofuk wants to keep the chances of getting out of this group alive. As Rabidsquirrel currently up with a win in this group D. So, that would be kind of nice here. And Tofuk really needs at least a draw in this matchup. Better, obviously, a win. Ooh. Like, with a draw, the chances would still be slim, but would be there. With a loss here, Tofuk won't have a chance of making it out to the playoffs in Division 1. And won't have a chance on getting any of these of that lovely prize money. So, let's see how this goes. M1 IP in the rear here with an Abrams moving up to the north. That's on the other side. We have some Motostrelki Rajvetkas coming in good numbers. Good amount of BMP3s rolling in as well on the other side. Rabidsquirrel coming in with 3 BMP3s here, in fact. A helicopter and 2 T-62s. BMP3s with their 100mm gun doing a good amount of support damage. They also have a solid frontal armor of 5, so they can survive a good amount of damage as well. Not taking much damage from autocannons and even able to survive a direct hit of the Dragon 2. As Tofuk here comes in with military police, standard unit that you see with 82nd a lot. The M67 still really strong, and good amount of airborne here as well in the fast Humvee 103, and a couple of Avengers to help out against any air spam from the other side. Against Mi-24Vs, those Avengers will be helpful as well. One M1 IP is the biggest boy currently on the battlefield. Rabidsquirrel can bring an even better tank out with the T-80BV, but doesn't start with any of those. Starts with the T-62s, and they are outgunned by the M1 IP. But in a 2 versus 1, they potentially have the chance of killing it. And with some ATGMs from the BMP3, they could be overwhelming the M1 IP for sure. As it is pretty strong with 1717 though. But the 2100 meter range keeps it back a bit if it's a 105mm gun. As in the south, airborne scouts and M67s try to control the center of the map. Military police unit there. Airborne scout holds line of sight over here as well. TOW 2 trying to get the gas. And the M67 gets the kill there. So good kill on Rabidsquirrel's recon unit there. That maybe tried to go a bit too deep. At the same time though, an SU-22 gets a good kill onto some of the enemy's infantry here. And the Avenger not good enough of getting the kill there. Got a kill onto the helicopter though. The Mi-24V went down. But Avenger not quite good enough to get the double kill. And now the BMP-3 push comes in. Rabidsquirrel will run into the already entrenched position here of Tofuk, but Tofuk's units for sure outclassed by the BMP-3s and the T-62s until the M1IP comes around, and the M1IP has to choose its engagements wisely here. As BMP-3s will eliminate these airbornes here relatively quickly, so the airbornes have to be careful. BMP-3s and T-62s here doing a lot of damage. Yeah, as you can see, airborne just evaporated there. Biusa has to be careful though. M67 now trying to get some shots onto the T-62. Won't do much damage though, as it is relatively inaccurate. And also doesn't have the highest DPS, but it has good range. And it is dealing enough damage to, with side shots, kill a lot of IFVs, and even with frontal damage, frontal hits do some significant amount of damage. M67 also helping out against infantries with the HE rounds. The airborne scouts now are in 84 range for the BMP-1. Don't get the hit though, so that's quite unfortunate, as Tofuk is the first one with CVs. 2 CVs being proed in here in the rear, going up to a +6. So Rabidsquirrel has to bring in CVs as well to stop that tick. A +6 tick is really, really strong. 240 points per minute, so you can't let that happen for too long. So the CVs that are coming in on the other side are the right decision here. Won't let Tofuk get away with too many points there. 162 it seems to be. Guess it will stop around the 170 mark. As the CV itself still has to capture it completely. There we go. 177 points. And the M1IP is moving forward. At the meantime, BMP-1P and UWAT's SPG-9 looking into a lot of infantry here for Tofuk. And hey, crowd control, thanks for the follow, thanks for the Twitch Prime, much appreciated. Welcome to the channel. Hope you're having a good time as we're getting closer to that sub goal. And ABTOW 2 trying to come around. BMP-3 here trying to get the kill. Not quite getting there though. David's ATGM. As airborne scouts try to hold the line here. And the TOW 2 will move on. Matrine, thanks for the Twitch Prime as well. As we're getting closer and closer to the NVA uniform. Bit by bit. And more airborne moving in here as well. Trying to get into the front little position here. As the artillery is coming in good numbers. Napalm, F-111, coming in from the skies. Yeah, will be most likely able to hit this pretty well. As the TOW 2 tries to get a hit onto the BMP-3, gets the kill there. TOW 2's absolute beasts, 25 damage, will kill a lot of tanks and all IFVs one shot. So yeah, even the T-62s here have to be really careful. If it's 15 penetration, it does a lot of damage to them as well. And the M1IP here gets double penetrated though by the T-62s, goes down to 2 hit points, but the TOW 2 gets a 1 hit here against the T-62s. So one of them goes down. BMP-3 trying to hold the long ranges here. No helicopter on the side of Tofuk, by the way, is a bit surprising, as the first A-10 though comes in. And on the other side we have 2 OSAs, which are pretty good all-rounder AA, as they have really good damage on their missiles, especially really helpful against the A-10, as with their 7 damage, even against the armor of the A-10, they only need 2 direct hits to get the kill. And they have good range against helicopter and decent range against aircraft, combined with solid accuracy as well. So really one of the best all-rounder AA in the game, the OSA. as it is also a nice, fast vehicle that can be redeployed easily around the map. So, yeah. Meanwhile, Sheridan's using their ATGMs to try to kill the BMP-3, will be able to do so. A-10 rocket, relatively cheap plane. And the gun, the Gauss gun of the A-10 is a good weapon. Su-25 though, not too shabby either. As gets a good amount of kills here as well. Avenger gets one missile in, but not a second one. And the OSA on the other side are capable of dealing with the A-10 here. So Su-25 will get out alive, A-10 won't do so. And the F-15 won't be able to catch up to the Su-25 without risking a lot of damage from these OSAs as well. So this is a bit of a tough loss now for Tofuk. The Su-25 did a good amount of damage. The A-10 didn't do too much damage and died at the same time. F-15 also has to be careful here with what it is doing. Doesn't want to get too close to the OSA, doesn't want to get too close to the pre-USA either. Already losing 2 hit points there. So it needs to be careful. Avenger also out of missiles at the moment. The M35 supply maybe should come around there. Okay, more M35s coming in. But the Avenger needs to be rearmed. You need to keep these Su-25s at bay. Otherwise, they will bully you into submission. So, well-supplied Avengers are kind of key. Airborne Dragon here, for example, will get sniped now. Su-25 trying to come around. Won't be able to hit the M1IP, which now is fully repaired, but there's no infantry remaining here. And the F-15 not quite capable of dealing with the Su-25 and now flies into a lot of AA fire here. As the OSAs both miss though, so the PUSA is the only thing that deals damage here. Deals a lot of damage to the F-15 though. So the F-15 will be out for repairs for a good while. Whilst we have more airborne infantry coming in to the north. As both sides don't have any CVs in the center just yet. But Rabidsquirrel is feeling confident that the northern section here can be held. And brings one in now. A Sheridan, double Sheridan coming in here. As the M1IP went down. The MP3's trying to snipe the mortars over here. With the ATGMs. As these are M125 mortars. Not having smoke. So they need to run. As these ATGM missiles don't have the greatest accuracy on this range. With only 40% on the long range. But they have a really good range of 2,800 meters. As time limit is 40 minutes. We're 9 minutes in right now. Sheridan coming in from the side. Trying to hit the BMP-3s. As Rabidsquirrel gets the first tick in himself. +2, plus 80 points per minute. As the 2 CVs hold the rear here. Bradley coming in. And Tofuk trying to get a CV now in the south, but has lost quite a bit of infantry here. Killed off a couple of vehicles as well at the same time. But Rabidsquirrel currently maybe having more down here, especially with the helicopter coming up. There is a Stinger on the other side, so the Mi-8 MT still needs to be careful. But if the Stinger could be eliminated, that could become pretty tough for Tofuk down here in the south. Meanwhile, northern situation is rather interesting as well. Rabidsquirrel for sure has the better side of the map in game number 1. That will shift around in game number 2, where Rabidsquirrel then will shift over to the other side of the map. And now we have an AH-1F helicopter coming in. And we'll move into the northern section of the map. As artillery is trying to rain down onto the BMP-3s here. Sheridan holding the line. Trying to get an ATGM onto position. Doesn't quite get it there though. Goes down instead. Whilst Humvees try to disengage here, but they're all getting killed off. Well, in the south, CV makes it in. Stinger gets the hit onto the Mi-8 MT. So the helicopter is stunned. Second shot hits as well. Mi-8 MT hits the floor, burning as a ball of flame. So Tofuk really good hits there. Stinger doing its job as one of the best manpads in the game. As the Bradley CVs using its good stealth here to be hidden from the BMP3, as no recon is up here. And it's amazing ATGMs with the TOW2s to get rid of some of these BMP3s, but good usage of the smoke here from Rabidsquirrel. Able to disengage here a bit further. The one more TOW2 might connect here with the T80BV, and that is a really good kill here. Rabidsquirrel losing both a BMP3 and the T80BV. That's a heavy loss to this Bradley, as no recon was up there with their units. So this Bradley here, an absolute MVP in this tree line. Really good usage of that position for Tofuk here. Trying to get more hits out there. Once on the other side, BMP3s try to move forward. Get closer to the enemy. Helicopters from the rear. Getting some good hits onto these motor strikers here as well. Airborne. Trying to get some kills in here too. Once the mortars continuously firing onto positions of the enemy. Mortars at the moment not dealing the most damage, but they're still stressing out and they are still able of doing some damage. So you eventually have to move out of where they are shooting, and they have a lot of ammo. So they are still keeping the enemy busy, but they obviously also require some micro from you. So I'm not too amazed with mortars at the moment, but they're for sure still capable of doing their job. This cluster bomber run though was a complete waste of time. Even if it would have killed the BMP3, that would not have been a good kill. And it didn't. So losing an F-111 cluster bomber for that was really, really rough. If it would have come in here, but obviously Tofuk doesn't know about it, that could have been really brutal. Though the CV wouldn't have gotten killed, as it isn't a vehicle CV, it's a Pericom Roddy. But Tofuk needs to be careful there. And in the south, we see a push with SPGs. So Tofuk needs to do something to counter that, though the Cobra is a good counter. As we saw in the game before, SPGs can't shoot up in the air. So helicopters are the easiest counter to them, as they can hurt everything else with their heat shells on their recoilless rifle relatively efficiently. They can even kill heavy tanks, especially if they can maybe get a side shot in. But against helicopters they can't do much, and this OSAR seems to be out of ammo. No, it just is on a move command. Okay, that was a bad decision by Rabidsquirrel there. The Cobra might have been able to get a kill there even, if it would have focused onto the OSA earlier. Now comes a bit too late though, and the OSA with its 6 missiles should get a kill. Oh my god! What the hell just happened there? How did it... I think it was because it lost line of sight there on the middle of all of these shots because of how the Cobra was moving around. Oh my god, yeah, that is terrible, terrible news. And the Cobra stays alive, though the Cobra is out of ammo. It can't retaliate immediately. If the F-111 tries to get out, Su-27 on the hunt though. That has good long-range missiles, but it still isn't good enough to get the kill there. Artillery on the side of Tofuk now. On the other side, we don't see any artillery for Rabidsquirrel yet. Issue with these artillery guns for 82nd are that they're first of all relatively small caliber, and second of all they're towed artillery. And if you don't have the truck around, moving these away from enemy counter battery is nigh impossible. So let's see how they do. Enemy CV went down here, so Tofuk with the napalm bomber getting back to equal footing when it comes to CVs. But the SPG is still coming around over here, and the BMP is helping out as well. So these engineer leaders most likely gonna go down. TOW2 out of ATGMs. The southern situation really not amazing here for Tofuk. Now trying to shoot down the SPGs with gun, but not quite getting on target, as the Su-27 is still around. Still has 6 short-range missiles that it can use to kill the F4, and it's faster than the F4E, so it gets the kill there. Su-27, absolutely gorgeous plane, doing a good job here. The best damage output in the game, basically, like the most potential for air kills in one run with its 10 missiles out of all planes, and its 30mm gun, which is also quite capable. Only issue with this is that it is a bit slower than the top end of fighter jets, and it's pretty expensive for that. So when it comes to cost efficiency, maybe not quite the best jet, but it is for sure still a powerhouse in a 1v1 scenario. M1IP getting a BMP3 here. CV getting to sneak in for Tofuk in the north. CV still in the rear here as well. But the SPG is still annoying. Cobra, though, should be able to deal with them relatively efficiently. Trying to hunt down the second one as well here. As artillery is coming around over here. And both sides down to a 50-50 once more. But the Su-25 comes in here for the kill. F-15 not around again. Still getting repaired. As another F-4E Phantom is trying to do the job. Trying to get the Su-25. But the F-4Es not having the most amazing missiles with the Sparrows. Still getting 2 hits. But 2 hits is not quite enough. And the Su-25 here getting a good amount of gun hits on the other side as well. We'll be out for repairs though for a good while. But the M1IP here is going down to the Su-25. And that is pretty brutal. And at the same time also a SPG of Rabidsquirrel made it through with some sneak through the enemy lines. And that Humvee here should go down. Humvee trying to reposition. Oh, SPG actually out of ammo. Won't happen there. Well, it's artillery here still firing. Now tries to fire and find enemy CVs once more. But Tofuk quits out of game number 1. As, yeah, 82nd is the more aggressive division and a lot of losses have been taken there. So, Rabidsquirrel gets victory number 1 here in this game. So, let's see what happens in game number 2. Okay, here we are, game number 2. Rabidsquirrel is up 1-0. And Tofuk, if Tofuk wants to make it out of group stage, has to get a point now. Keep the chances alive. Has to get a W here. And the division, I don't think, is a bad one to try to do so. As it's once more an airborne division, but this time around, it's the Soviet one. The 35th Air Assault Brigade. The VDV has arrived. But Rabidsquirrel is going on a division that we haven't seen too often lately. 2nd Panzer Grenadier has Fallschirmjägers, but not the most amazing. Luxus are nice. Issue is the AA and the air superiority fighters that they get, plus the MG3 at the moment, not the best infantry MG. And Germans, the West Germans also don't have any 50 cults in their service, which are currently really strong. So yeah, they're reliant on their pretty solid tanks and their good artillery to do a lot of work in that deck. And the infantry is fine, but it's just not as strong as it once was. So you have to do a bit more with the other tools you got. 35th Air Assault, a lot of strong forward deployment. The T-64 is really nice. Su-25s, you don't get the rocket ones, but you still get the AT ones. You get good fighters with the MiG-29s. Your AA is a bit lackluster though. And yeah, as I said, Tofuk needs to get the W here. As with a draw, there would still be a chance of getting the out of group stage if the other games align correctly. But without it, there is no chance. With 2 losses, you are out. 2 out of 3 losses, you can't make it out of group stage, really. So, let's see what Tofuk is going to go up with. And once more, a shout out to Matcherino, guys, where you can add money to the prize pool if the website is not doing an oopsie, like it does right now for me. Yeah, where you can add, click up here to claim the code and add some free money to the prize pool. Already a lot of you did. We nearly used up all the claim codes. Let's get them all used up. And then a couple of other options to add free money, like visiting the website of Lucid Sound or Power A. Just visiting the website there. Add some money to the prize pool as well. You just go to your website. You don't have to interact with the website at all. You just have to visit it to add some more prize pool money to it completely for free. That will then in the end get paid out to some of the contenders. We're by now above 250 bucks for the winner. So that is pretty cool. That's actually some nice sizable amount of money. Getting WARNO closer to esports. Let's freaking go. And yeah, let's jump back in here. All information about the tournament you can find on our lovely website, playsdl.com. Spesnuts coming over here now in good amount of numbers. T-64B, the small brother of the T-64BV, coming in without the extra armor. But 18-14 is still pretty good stats for a tank. As on the other side, the Leos for sure are a good amount weaker. The Leo 1s. And the M48s especially. 13.5 and only 1925 meter range. Versus the 2275 meter range here, so on 1900 meter range this thing even has 20 penetration. So it does a lot of damage to the M48s, and everything closer it starts to one-shot them. Leo 185s with 15 penetration also not doing too much damage to the T-64B either, with its 14 frontal armor. So it's a really good tank for this matchup, I would say as well. Till the Leo 2A3s come around, it is the king of the battlefield. And you don't get a lot of these Leo 2A3s anymore in the 2nd Panzer Grenadier, like the 5th Panzer. The Mi-24 also doing a good job here against the early Fallschirmjäger. Gina helicopter though around to get the kill there. No AA on the other side, no MiG-29s to get the kill onto the Gina. Gina is a nice helicopter killer with its 30mm for 110 points. And its rockets can be helpful as well. Now trying to get a rocket run onto the Conquerors over here. Spetsnaz coming in good numbers. Spetsnaz at the moment really strong infantry. 12 hit points with 10 AKSUs and RPOs and 2 PKMs that has really good CQC firepower. Pretty decent medium firepower with the 2 PKMs as well. And all of that for 60 points is really nice for a forward deployable unit. So yeah, strong power there as well. As Spetsnaz moving forward here, but Spetsnaz OP are a bit out of position to help out against the Fuchses here. So the MG3s of the Fuchses can pin down the Spetsnaz here relatively quickly. Pioneers also getting into range to use their TNT, and that is still really deadly. Pioneers not super easy to use because of the range of the TNT, of only 150 meter range, which on these maps is not that much. MiG-29 also finally coming around to get the Gina out of the skies. But if you get into range in these building fights or with smoke, they are still really efficient. Pioneers over here, now under fire, but they're getting more TNT onto the Spetsnaz, so another Spetsnaz here might bite the dust as the Pioneers start to run out of TNTs though. So the 2nd Spetsnaz should be able to finish the job as it still has some of its RPOs left. And yeah, one of the Spetsnaz already pinned down, the other one heavily damaged. And the Spetsnaz still at 10 hit points, but still good kills here for Rabidsquirrel with these Pioneers. A lot of M48s coming around as well. The MP2 trying to help out, getting rid of the Pioneers, whilst Feldjägers are rushing in. Okay, that's an interesting unit. We haven't seen Feldjägers in a long while. Their MP5s are really good. The 80% accuracy makes them the best SMG in the game, I think. They might have a bit less damage than the AKSU. I'm not quite sure, but it's for sure a good SMG. But you only have 4 of them. You don't have any AT, so they die really quickly, and they can't do anything against vehicles. So the BMP2 here really eating them up already. But with the M48s, they are just here, I guess, to reveal enemy units and then allow the other units to kill them. And 2 of them might be able to deal with this Spetsnaz over here, as it doesn't have any RPOs left. Meanwhile, MiG-29 doing its best to try to get another Gina killed off. Getting a missile into it, but not quite getting the kill. The R-27R is a really good long-range missile, making the MiG-29 a pretty cost-efficient fighter, as it can hunt down enemies on long range, and then it also has a decent mid-range missile as well with the R-73, and a good gun with 30mm on a relatively fast and agile plane. 20 ECM is not the most amazing, so it can't survive in enemy air defenses, but it also has the bonus of just looking gorgeous. Like, it's one of the coolest looking planes ever designed, for sure. Might be my favorite of all time. Don't know, I guess that goes to the Zero, the Japanese World War II A6M fighter, but still one of the coolest planes ever. Feldjägers over here, getting bullied. Conquerors holding the line back here, but not having line of sight onto the M48s, and the T-64BB doesn't want to go there on its own. More Pioneer Flame coming in here. Okay, Conqueror's finally getting a missile out, getting a kill onto a Fuchs, not onto an M48 though. But none of these units here has AT, so the T-64B is somewhat secure there, but I mean, you don't really want to use a tank on its own completely. And you also don't want to go into short-range fights versus cheap tank spam. Like, the longer the range, the less efficient M48s are, as they won't have the penetration to do anything to you, so you really don't want to go into CQC fights with your expensive tanks. That's not how you want to use tanks like the T-64s in these scenarios, I would say. But it's what's happening here. As the M48, if it can get side shots, it still does one-shot you. As you only have 3 rear armor and 7 side armor is also not that amazing. M48 gets one-shotted here. T-64 got the first shot there. So, as the M48 got revealed to it. So that was good. But Tofuk has to be careful here. This is a really dangerous game that Tofuk's playing. As more Spetsnaz and Dejan Pulumachiki are rushing in here to try to help out. In the north, nobody's capturing any ground. Also interesting that only one CV has been added to the map just yet. Tofuk on a +3. As Rabidsquirrel now is getting 2 boxes on the other side. And what do you think, guys? Who has the advantage here at the moment? I would say Tofuk is still looking pretty strong here. Has to be careful to not lose this T-64. Maybe popping some smoke there. As the BO 105 gets shut down last second by the Igla before it can hit the T-64. That was close, but it gets the kill there. And Tofuk on the +3. Another CV down here would be nice, I guess. But still might have the better CQC infantry here with the Spetsnaz coming in. T-64 though going down now as it tried to move in again before getting repaired. BMD coming in, the 85mm from up the hill, still trying its best to get some kills here. The Conquerors getting a good amount of kills, not on the most amazing targets, but by now has killed a couple of Fuchses and Unimox, so that's still good amount of points killed off. Whilst the BMDs are trying to help out from the rear. Another T-64 has arrived, whilst there's no Leo 2A3s on the other side. But 2 Leo 1A5s still are pretty dangerous for the T-64Bs as well. Yeah, 2 CVs now on the side of Rabidsquirrel. Third one coming in for the front line. Let's see what Tofuk can do here. Tiny Armbrust on the fire. Yes. One more Dejantnikis are moving in. Northern situation. Fliegerfaust getting overrun by Dejantniki. Good kill there. A lot of Fliegerfaust spread out here. Fliegerfaust, obviously not an amazing AA. 35% accuracy is pretty trash. Not the worst in the game, but pretty trash. And 4 damage also not amazing. With mediocre range. Even for a man-pad of 2,300 meters. So, yeah. Combining all that makes it relatively lackluster. As the Dejantnikis and the BMD get overrun by the light tank spam here. And there is a Leo 2A3 now. Dejantniki Medis at least get an M48 killed here. No, a Leo 1A5 actually. But the Leo 2A3 is scary. With its 1919 stats, it outclasses the T-64s heavily. And yeah, all T-64s in the south currently dead. A new CV is needed. Tofuk is bringing it in. Tried to bring one in for the front line here as well. And the Conquerors is still in a good spot. Another Leo 1A5 might die here. Not quite, but most likely down to 1 hit point, I think it is. So any further damage will kill it, and the Conquerors able to follow it up as there's still nothing to spot it here. M48 most likely going down here as well. There we go. As a Mi-8 rocket is trying to get some damage out as well. I think it's aiming for the M48 over here with its rockets now. Yeah, or the Leo 2A3. The Leo 2A3 actually that gets hit. Doesn't deal too much damage to it, but stuns it down nicely. Pioneer Armbrust still annoying. As we have an Mi-8 resupply helicopter here in the rear that might be used for the Mi-8 rocket once it used up its rockets. But we have a good amount of Eyehawks here sitting in the rear. Transport Panzer Fuchs will die relatively quickly there. Tornado A80 coming in to get the kill. Flying relatively deep, but the MiG-29s are still back at base. MiG-29 now being called in. Had to wait for the Su-25 to come in first though, as that takes off first. And now the Tornado will most likely make it out. MiG-29 should get home. Yeah, this is not where it wants to go, especially not with the Eyehawks around. And Su-25 trying to move towards the north with its cluster. Interesting to see the cluster version and not the ATGM version that you usually see. MiG-29 trying to get a hit. Eyehawks though coming in a lot as well. No AA down here on the ground outside of one Igla, but that Igla is getting the kill. Is together with the 6 damage of the MiG-29's missile. It gets the kill, so that Igla was really important there. Tornado biting the dust. Really important kills here for Tofuk, as the Su-25 cluster tries to come in for the CV that is being brought in here. Eyehawks though get the snipe done from the side just before the cluster gets released, so the M755 CV will make it in the north, will achieve a +2 for Rabidsquirrel again. And Rabidsquirrel still putting up pressure in the south, as the Leo 283 is still alive as well. As more and more BMDs are coming in. But crossing the open here is painful now for our player in red, Tofuk, in a bit of trouble. Once in the north, BMP-1P tries to hit up the Sicherungs. Not getting any kills there just yet though. And another Dejaniki is sitting around here. Feldhager moving around further as well. Get some kills. Motorradredka sitting in there as well. Pioneer Armbrust coming in. BMD2 rolling around. Pioneer Armbrust getting melted here. BMD2 getting the kill there. Good one. Skimitar hitting the Dejaniki Meris. Dejaniki Meris under heavy fire. Skimitar moving forward, hitting them further. They're under heavy pressure. Su-25 cluster trying to come in for the north, trying to get the M577 killed, as it's scrambling to get out of there alive, but it won't be able to do so. Oh! Crash. Yeah, Su-25. The Eyehawk from the south just giving enough cover there to help out against these cluster bombing runs. Su-25 dying time and again. And Rabidsquirrel up to a +2. Tofuk in a bit of a pickle. Another T-64B rolling in for the south. Dejaniki BMDs coming in here as well. The Pioneer Flamethrower moves forward. BMD2 trying to get some side shots in here onto a Leo 2A3. Will actually be able to do some damage, as the Leo is turning around though. And BMD2 gets out of there alive. Has to be really careful from now on out though, as now the enemy knows about it. T-64 moving in here. ATGMs being used from the Conquerors, killing off more focuses. This Conqueror's really an MVP. Killing off a good amount of units by now. But still might not be enough here for Tofuk. T-64 helping out big time as well. But Rabidsquirrel looking strong in the north again. And the south. Tofuk might have enough now here to get that push through. But 2 cluster bombers for a Leo 2A3, for example, would be quite helpful now. As another T-64BV now comes in. Yeah, dealing with the Leo 2A3, not an easy task when you don't have planes around to deal with it, and you don't have any heavier tanks than a T-64. As I said, T-64 can do the job if they're getting, they're relatively okay-ish. The T-64BV, especially in that matchup, So they still have a significant amount lower frontal armor with 3 difference there and 1 less penetration and slightly less accuracy as well. Whereas this Leo only having a slightly lower basic rate of fire, but with veterancy might actually even have a higher base line of fire. Only not dropping whilst the other side doesn't drop. Ooh, Spesna Torpedo getting its RPG 29 on target of the Leo. Getting a good amount of damage out, but then gets killed off by the Leo in retaliation. Tornado Cluster also getting a good amount of kills here onto BMD2s. But the Leo 2A3 down to 5 hit points, down in rate of fire due to the stress as well now, as the cohesion dropped to normal. And 1 more hit needed to reduce it heavily in its stress level. And the T-64 here might fire first, as I don't think it gets spotted. Oh no, it's firing actually into the south. And now the Leo has spotted it, can disengage, and it has killed off a lot of units beforehand. And the Leo also is faster than the T-64, so it can get out of there. Dejaniki might want to move around here, as the Leo now is approaching the T-64B. Oh, gets it routed, so the T-64B doesn't even get a shot out. Dejaniki BMD gets another hit with a RPG V7VL, but only against the frontal armor, only dealing 1 damage, so still 4 hit points on the Leo. Same time, a Gepard annihilating the Dejaniki BMDs over here, so they have to disengage. Whilst it's a 50-50 all around the map right now. Leo 1A1s though, moving in the north. Leo 1A5's coming in as well. And the T-64 over here on its own. The BV could move forward as well. The B version should disengage and get repaired as more M48s coming in as cannon fodder for the in front of the Leo 2A3, just to spot enemy dangers. And the Conquerors now most likely will bite the dust as well. Not able to achieve another hit before it goes down. It did a lot of damage, but it seems like it might not have been enough here, as the T-64BV goes down in the south as well. Mi-24V coming around in the north. Fliegerfausts opening fire on top of it. Sicherungs going down. And the Leo 1A1 at least went down as well, but more Leos on the way. RPG 22s might be able to get some side shots there, but Dejan's Comrade will fall. And Rabidsquirrel will go up to a +2 once more. Gina's hunting down the helicopter. No AA up here in the north to kill them. As a MiG-29 got brought in the south. Should be able to get at least one of these Ginas killed. Maybe even both. One goes down. It doesn't want to go for the second one. Fliegerfausts most likely won't do much there. One gets a hit in. But still a +2 in the north here. Only a Conqueror's remaining for Tofuk in the south. Situation is looking similarly grim as only the CV is remaining in this zone. Artillery is not amazing. Air is not amazing. Like, the position here for Tofuk is becoming really, really rough. So, Tofuk's chances for making it out of group stage in WARNO League Season 0 are becoming grimmer and grimmer. Whilst the ones of Rabidsquirrel are slowly going up. Win by win. With 2 wins, I think Rabidsquirrel won round. Yeah, Rabidsquirrel won week number 1 against Jane Spruce. With 2 wins, you're already in a pretty good position for making it out of group stage. Like, only a tiebreaker can stop him there now, I think. So, chances are that Rabidsquirrel will make it out of group stage with this W. With 4,600 to 2,900 kills. GGVP to both players. Tofuk's early game looked pretty good, but then the Leo 2A3 ruined Tofuk's day completely. And Tofuk never quite able to do quite enough pressure onto Rabidsquirrel to achieve a victory there on either of the zones. Cluster Bomber also always stopped. So, yeah, VP here. And I just found another series I wanted to cast in WARNO. So gonna do one more WARNO series. Then we still gonna do Steel Division. We're gonna go a bit longer tonight, guys. But yeah, one more WARNO series coming